What's going on, Bass-TEC fans? Let's dive right into here. We have Nicolai and Jeff from High Voltage Bass Anglers. Welcome, men.
How about it?
Hey,
Man, I appreciate y'all men taking time right now, which, we're pretty much all in lockdown anyways, right?
Right.
Self-confinement to our home. So what better opportunity to get on here and talk about some bass fishing? So appreciate y'all men. I know from the last time we had to take and reschedule the last interview and everything due to kind of mentioning what happened. For those that didn't know, my grandpa passed away, so it kind of set some conflict there and had some training out of town and stuff. So man, I appreciate y'all taking the time and working with me to getting back on this, and it actually works out pretty good, don't it, Nicolai, for the timing?
Yeah, it does. It does.
So tell me a little bit about. Let's start off that way. If folks that doesn't know you, give some ample time for folks to jump on here and start logging in. Tell us about yourselves, each one of y'all. Nicolai, if you want to go first, tell us about how long you've been John boat fishing. If you fish big lakes, kind of what got you rooted and started into John boat fishing.
Well, going in, I guess, the 4th year of John boats. And then, my dad was always a bass fisherman. He always fished big tournaments, and he was always checking me out of school and everything. Back when I was 8, 7 years old, going with him, every chance I got. And I don't know, it stuck with me then. Die-hard fan of it. So.
Was y'all mostly pond fishing or big lake fishing, or?
No, all the big lakes: Clark Hill, Hartwell, Lanier, Oconee, Sinclair. Got to go a lot of lakes out of state too.
It's curiosity. Just rooted it. Oh, go ahead.
He was full blown into it, and I guess that's why the way I am. Just
into bass fishing, or was y'all crappie, however you want to pronounce it?
Mainly bass fishing. Every once in a while, we knew where the hybrids were. We'd get into that.
Yeah.
Some crappie fishermen.
Yeah.
A little bit of striper fishing on Lanier, but nothing too extreme.
Yeah. Well, awesome. So I don't know if y'all know WPIC Nation. Any of y'all know them? I don't know them.
No.
Well, they're saying hello. Appreciate you joining on here. So tell me about it. Jeff, what all you've had involvement in fishing stuff past?
Well, I've been doing it John boat fishing tournament fishing for about 8-9 years now. I started with I think it was Southern John boat, and then got into did that for like 2 years, and then got into high voltage.
Awesome. That's awesome. So y'all still kind of, as far as the electric side of things, still kind of green into it a little bit. You said 6 years, right? From with Southern John?
Yeah, I've been doing it with high voltage for about 7 years, and Southern John boat I did it for about 2 years.
And correct me if I'm right, man, both of y'all, if I remember correctly, y'all both have John boat setups, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking, and that really, I've noticed that out of a lot of anglers now. It's getting more popular to where it's just not one angler that has a boat. It's both of y'all, and does that kind of play in a favor to helping y'all as far as rotating boats, sometimes fishing out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, first couple tournaments we had to fish out of mine because his was getting redone. So, we had to fish out of mine the first 2 tournaments. So, it happens.
Yep. So I know that's really the biggest, topic discussion that we've really got, your boat setup, Nicolai. I know you've had an amazing boat setup, and correct me if I'm right, that used to be the same boat that Scott Edwards had years ago.
Yeah, he set it up. he wanted to get rid of it, so I took it off his hands.
And you've
I run out, you know. I bought this house where I'm at now, which is 10, 15 minutes from Lake Varner, and I borrowed my buddy's John boat because I got an 8-acre pond behind my house. And one day I just got an itch to go to Varner, and I just threw a 34-pound thrust on the back and went over there and caught fish, and then got that itch again to get into it. So I started looking up, you know, tournaments, trying to figure out stuff around this area, and found out local tournaments when they're going to start having them. And I run out and bought a 14-foot Pro Craft fiberglass, about the same as your boat, and put a couple troll motors on there. We were still the slowest, but I did that for about 2 months, and I had enough of it.
Well, you talking about just kind of lighting a fire on you to getting into John boat. What do you think that? What do you think that drive that passions a lot of people to want to not go towards the big boats? What do you think the passion is that draws you to fishing these electric boat setups?
One is a mindset of, you know, you might be able to catch bigger bags on these smaller lakes, you know, which you can, than the big lakes. You know, it don't take as much effort and thought. And they both fish different, you know. They fish totally different. Big lakes are a lot of power fishing, you know. To me, anyway, that's how it always played out for me, with a lot of power fishing on the big lakes. And then trying to transition and bring that to the smaller lakes, it worked, but not to a T. You know, everybody was shaky heading on these small lakes. Shaky head. That's all I ever heard, and I didn't throw that much. So I tried adapting into that the first year, and it didn't really pan out too good for me. And I just had to come into my own on it.
What do you think, Jeff? What do you think the passion is that draws people to want to fish these electric events?
I mean, for me, it's just, I mean, I love the competition side of it. You know what I mean? I mean, big lakes, I mean, you got to pay gas money, all that. I mean, higher entry fees and that. Plus, I don't know, summertime and that. I mean, lakes get crowded and busy. These smaller electric lakes, I mean, there's, you know, not many people out there, just us out there fishing. I mean,
yep. So previously with the boat setup, Nicolai, I know y'all had put a lot of money into this boat going into this 2020 season, and tell me way the boat was set up before. I know we interviewed last year. This is your second time qualifying, Jeff's first time qualifying with you as a partner. But tell me about how the boat was set up previously, motor, stuff like that.
I don't know if everybody can see it in the background of what I can see. You know, it had the console and the steering wheel. I mean, it was your basic Bass Tracker 95, 96 model with the Elco. I mean, I run to Home Depot and bought a piece of 3/4 inch pipe and mounted my graph on the end of it to sit up higher. And bought the XI5 spot lock. That was a big bonus for me. That played a big key. But I mean, there wasn't nothing special about it. It was pretty basic, really.
And you're running the Elco, which is the 99 motor, which is also the EP20.
Yeah, it's the early. It was a 99 originally, and then they ended up changing the horsepower rating on it. So it is the 20 horse, but it does say 99 on it.
So that's 48 volt system. So let's talk a little bit also about Jeff's boat. Tell me, Jeff, about your boat that you have and what all's on it and stuff.
I mean, I got the same exact boat Nicolai's got. I got a 96 Bass-TEC. I got a Lowrance 9-inch. It's a Gen 2 older model depth finder on it. I just put a 55-pound Minn Kota spot lock on the front of it, and I got a Torpedo 4.0 on the back. So that's basically my setup.
And the Torpedo 4.0, it's a what voltage is it? 48?
It's 48 volt.
So what, just curiosity, because are you running the lithiums on the Torpedo?
No, I'm just running basic, acid batteries on it.
So what's your speed that you're getting with your setup, Jeff?
I would say probably max like 7 or something, around 7 miles an hour.
Yep.
I'm getting.
And Nicolai, your boat set up prior to your recent modifications to it.
Speed wise, or
Yes, speed, correct.
it was probably hitting 7.4 the way it was set up before, and and then now going all aluminum and changing a few things, it's probably bumped up to 7.6, 7.7 loaded. So it went up. You're not going to gain a lot when you do stuff. Everybody thinks it's going to jump way up, but it doesn't. You're going to get like 0.2 or 3 more. That's about it. You
Right.
don't gain a lot, which it's a lot in our world. It is.
It's enough to get you ahead of the pack, ain't it?
Yeah, it's a big advantage when you can run 3/4 and everybody else is running wide open, and then whenever you want to, if you have to get in front of somebody to get somewhere, you go ahead and push it on down a little more.
Unless there's other boats out there now that's got, the Elco's got the EP50. There's other motors out there like the Pure Watercraft. I mean, they're planing these boats out now.
Yeah, but we ain't there yet in our area, our neck of the woods.
I was about to say my wallet ain't ready for it either.
No.
So let's dive in for a minute, kind of, and just that way, from what I'm seeing, I don't know if everybody else sees the same thing, but your boat setup, I'm really not seeing Nicolai, but just a fraction of it. So kind of go through and if you want to tell us who done your work for the modifications, what you done differently from what used to be there, and what do you like about it now?
Well, Frank he's Piedmont Customs. He's the one that done the work. Good guy. I think he does great work. He does it on the side, so you got to be patient with him. He does have a regular job like the rest of us,
Yes.
But I would recommend him to anybody. He does good looking work. Y'all be able to see for yourself. So, but I'll walk you through it. I'll start up front. I'm gonna move you up here. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I'll start with the trolling motor. Like I said, it's an XI5. I actually bought this bracket that holds this stem right here for my grass. So that's the live site. And Jeff actually gave me his Phish noise maker. What you call it, Jeff?
It's it's the Kevin Van Dam. It's a Hydrowave.
Hydrowave.
Different sounds on it.
So I stuck that on there as well. And
so I don't mean to interrupt you. Are you a believer in the Hydrowave or a non-believer?
I am a believer in the Hydrowave. Last year at where was it? Juliet. We didn't hardly have any bites at 9 o'clock. I turned it on, and within 5 minutes, we started catching fish. So I believe in it.
Nicolai?
I haven't got to use it yet, so I don't know.
You're ready to see it in action, ain't you?
I'm waiting after these fish come off bed where it's going to matter.
Yeah. Ain't no fish on bed, but go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you.
But yeah, this bracket allows these iPilots, it slides down, it stays standard where it is. So it's a nice feature to have because you can't mount anything on the bottom of these trolling motors.
Yeah.
All of us love to have our transducer up front so we can see, but this will allow it. This piece right here. I don't know if you can see the whole thing.
Yep. It's kind of like the same thing you see with the 360 for the hummingbird helixes and stuff like that, and onyxes that they're running. Yep.
Well, the guy that built it, that's actually what it was for. It was a 360, and it would mount right on the bottom. But you can use it for what I'm using it for. You mount your transducers on or whatever else you have.
So you think that's a very key element, being able to have that live scope and be able to know what's in front of you?
It is. I mean, I don't think it's as good as the Garmin, but as far as the front view, coming up on brush piles, lakes you fish, like High Falls got a lot of brush piles and docks.
Right.
So I can locate them before I get to them, and you can make them cast before you run over them and spook them, So I think that's an advantage. Plus schooling fish, when they come up and they go back down, you don't know where they go, but I can use that and turn the boat in front of it, and I can stay with them and keep casting in front of them. I have done that at Stone Mountain.
That's awesome. So tell me, I know looking at you don't have really a recessed trolling motor foot pedal for it because yours is the remoteless. Yep.
That's it. I can throw it back there with Jeff and let him do it, or give him the remote, whatever he wants to do.
Yep.
So that's nice. That's about the third pedal I've went through, though. That's the only bad part about it. But this one I've had for about a year now. It seems to be holding strong.
Is it the weight on it that winds up eventually breaking it down, or?
I really don't know. Just communication problems with it or something. The first one I had, I think something went bad with the spring, like in the heel, because it would work fine turning one way, but the other way it didn't. You had to really press on it.
Gotcha.
And then the other one, I think it had a problem with the button. But all this was under warranty, so I was able to get it all back free,
Yes, sir. So I know we just talked a minute ago about it. Very interesting fact. If you want to go on through, we'll kind of save however you want to go for direction on the boat. Let you do the lead.
All right. Well, Frank was able to make me this. I had just a regular 3/4 inch pole standing up, and it wouldn't slide up and down. This one, I had him make this one out of aluminum, so you're able to pull a pin and actually adjust it up if you like.
Dadgum.
But I like to have it up there where I can touch it all day and play with it, especially during the summertime, because I use that graph a lot. I rely on it, and I don't want to be bending over all day. The sun glare sometimes, you can't see it if it's low. So I like to have it right there with me when I got to bend over all day. But if you're ready to hit the banks and go power fishing, just drop it down, and it's out of your way.
Have you had problems so far with having an elevated fish finder to where you have to get your rod tangled up in it or something while catching a fish?
The only thing I can think of was yesterday out at Hard Labor. I bumped into it pretty good trying to net a fish that broke off. But I wouldn't say that was cause of the rod or nothing. I've gotten used to it. It hadn't really affected me none.
That's an awesome feature. I really like that. That's cool.
So, but I'll run through the boat. I had him add me a power switch here for the trolling motor, because sometimes you got to be able to turn it off, and you might have to relink or reset everything for the trolling motor. So we just throw the switch in there. Right here was just a lot of wasted space. So I told him to add me a door, and we turned it into a compartment.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left a little hole right there. I don't know if you can see it, for the pump. In case it ever goes bad, we're able to change it.
So your bilge pump's up front?
I have 2 live wells. I had him build me one in the front, and I got the original in the back. So if we ever have a 20 or 35 pound bag, I can separate them and have room.
Very nice.
There's the front live well that he built.
And this is all aluminum?
That's all aluminum welded.
Gotcha.
It has its own aerating system, and I got one fill pump that works both of them. But I got a valve. I got that blue valve right there. I just hit it, whatever live well on fill, or both of them.
Oh, awesome.
The rod box, I had him extend it to about 8.5 foot. Before it was 7 foot, and it would only go, you could only put a 7 foot rod in there. So it was kind of useless for me.
Or like a 6.5 foot rod. I can't get my 7 foot rod in there.
Yep.
But
I
you know,
have the same problems.
but now I can put my 711 A-rig rod in there and whatever else.
The A-rig don't catch fish.
But that's a big key, to get a bunch of rods off the deck that you don't use, because you know, somewhere through the day you figure out you ain't going to use but 1 or 2 rods. You get the rest of them out of there.
That's right.
And then this is where the seat was originally.
Yep.
And it was probably about right here. I had him bring it up and just turn it into a big compartment. We put some LED lights in here, there, and the compartments, the rod box, and all that has LED lights, so it'll light up. That's my control switch. That's my throttle, the aerator, and the pumps, and the lights, and everything over there.
Yeah, I noticed that when we was looking earlier. That's a really neat concept. That, you know, no more console, and that gives so much more movement around the boat.
It does, man. With all this room, all these compartments now, I mean, all you got on the deck is just a few rods. I think Jeff had 3 the other day. I had 4 on the deck, and there was no clutter. There was just room everywhere on the boat. And it was nice. It was clean looking. You ain't having to step or trip over nothing.
Not hitting your knee on the windshield.
Hitting the console, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Well, if you can get rid of the console, I would. It helps.
Definitely agreed.
I mean, the reason I got rid of the console, and I had to change the way of steering because I don't have a tiller handle. I had to. I looked into buying the Panther electric steer.
So the electric steer, we talked about this a minute ago, and I think it is absolutely amazing feature that you don't have cables, you don't have a stick steer with it. It's all set up where you can just turn it by that remote, correct?
Yeah, I got a little key fob right here, and also it comes with a cord, you know, a wire cord, and I got it run to the front, and it's got 2 buttons on it, right or left. So I can use that, or I can use the key fob.
Man, that is awesome. Is it pretty quick and responsive for turning, or?
It is. It is. Let me see that remote up there, please.
Probably about like the power drives and stuff like that on trolling motors, about the same speeds.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if y'all can see it, but
Oh yeah. Man, that is awesome.
Quick enough for what we got to do, you know.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So on the remote, does it? Okay, obviously with the, is there a backup? Say if that remote something faults with it or anything. I mean, obviously with it, you may just have to disconnect and just try to.
Well, this is what I was just turning it with. This comes with it right here, and it comes with a 25-foot cable. So that's my primary. The key fob was something extra. It's probably about another $125. It comes with separate motors. I don't know if you can see these 2 black boxes right here.
Okay.
One is for the key fob, and it has an antenna, and the other one is the standard remote that comes with it.
That is awesome. That's cool. Never seen those. That's really neat.
You can't use both of them at the same time, but it's a quick connect right here, and I can just plug the other one right in. You know, they're separate. So
that is awesome.
One goes bad, I got to back up. You know what I mean?
That is awesome. So batteries, looks like, I mean, obviously you got your batteries back there, all of them back here in the back?
These are my 12 volts. They're 190 amp. I got 2 of them back here. I got 2 in the middle box up front, split the weight, because they're about 132 pounds a piece. I have one 12-volt battery for all the electronics here, and then I got the exact same battery with the other batteries up front for the trolling motor. So I got these 3 batteries here, and I got the exact same 3 batteries up front, so the weight's distributed evenly.
And those are 12-volt cells per one?
Yep, 12 volts, 190 amps.
190 amps. Wow.
I know Saturday we were cutting it close. We run it hard that morning racing, and then we probably run 6 miles an hour all day, jumping around the places, and then the I guess the last 20 minutes there, we had to go, and I held it wide open, and we pulled in on the dot, 3 o'clock on the dot. But I also have a battery gauge too that I just installed. I don't know if you can see it right there, but it tells me how much percent battery I got, how many volts. So that was nice to have, to know what I had left at the end of the day, you know.
So your max charge sitting usually is around what, 53 volts?
Yeah, it's my charger says 53.3.
So probably, correct me if I'm right, because I've noticed this as well. Where do you start seeing your fall off for battery drainage, losing speed? What's kind of the voltage you start seeing?
I just put that on there, so, and I've done Phish 2 tournaments with it, and I haven't run the batteries out yet. And we run it hard. We ain't playing around with it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to see what it will do. So I've been pushing it, but it hadn't run. Them batteries haven't run out yet, man. They're unbelievable batteries. Yeah,
those are awesome batteries, especially for the amp hours to it. So now the Elco, how old is that Elco motor? Do you have an idea? Because it was on it before.
I don't know how long Scott had it on there. I'm saying it's probably 6 years old at least, maybe.
You ever had any problems out of it?
No, I had no problems out of it.
Just do the yearly maintenance, change out the fluids, and on the lower air unit, and you're good.
Yeah, I think I changed the lower end 2 years ago. I'm probably due to do it again. I don't know why or if something was ever done to it, but my motor seems to be quicker than some of the others. I don't know if it's because of some of the other boat setups or what it may be.
Scott tweaked it, didn't he?
He may have. I don't know. I just know I haven't seen one match it yet.
Yeah, he definitely must have tweaked it. That's what it is. We're going to have to talk with him and have a conversation and say, so all right, so tell us what y'all turned up the juice on.
I mean, there's 3 or 4 boats that are the same boat as I have, and they really can't hang with this one. So I don't know what it is.
That is awesome boat setup, man. It really is. Frankie done an amazing job on it. Looks really, really good.
He did. I recommend him to anybody.
And just so that way people know, Frankie and them had some involvement with Georgia Bass-TEC during the 2019 season. Looking forward to seeing them come back again into this 2020 Georgia Bass-TEC. So let's kind of dive into, unless you got if I'm missing anything else, what you're wanting to discuss about your boat.
No, I mean, the only other thing we did was sorry about the dog. The only other thing we did was coat the bottom of it.
Yep.
We put this epoxy on there and made sure it sealed real good. That way there was no leaks. I ended up finding about 5 or 6 leaks, but we ended up welding them up and coating it.
Because it's all riveted.
Yes.
Yours the same way, Jeff? You got rivet on yours boat?
Yeah, I haven't had any leaks on mine, so I mean, I haven't had a problem. So
yeah,
mine's not coated on the bottom. It's just all aluminum on the bottom.
Gotcha. Well, that is awesome. So let's kind of dive into, Jeff, correct me if I'm right. You've never participated in a Georgia Bass-TEC event yet, correct?
No, not yet. I was out there. I helped last year, doing some of the camera work out there.
So
Did a little fishing too, and caught a couple fish.
I mean, you're familiar with hard labor, obviously. What's your thoughts going into this? I mean, are you kind of nervous with it? Are you a pretty lax guy, Jeff? Or
I mean, I'm laid back. I mean, we've had good tournaments out there. I mean, Sunday we should have had a good sized bag out there, but we missed a couple fish. But we've done pretty good out there. I like the lake.
So, Nicolai, being that you're returning back 2020, back-to-back years, entering back into Georgia Bass-TEC, last year's event was in March. So, I mean, we were really hitting pre-spawn fish going into that event. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with that.
So now we're going to flip it because obviously the event's May 30th. So we're going to come in post-spawn fish. Do you think that's going to hurt? Is it going to help maybe?
It may help. It may help. I think it'll be pretty exciting, man. They ought to be killing a spinnerbait. They ought to be feeding.
So tell me about, y'all mentioned about Sunday having potentially a phenomenal day out there. Y'all also fished the tournament Saturday, correct? Through with high voltage out there.
Yeah, we caught a bunch of fish, just couldn't find the right ones. They just hadn't moved up yet. Everybody else pretty much had the same problem. There was only about really 2 that I would call good fish that were caught out of 28, 29 boats.
Wow.
So that's a lot of sticks in the water, and only pull 2 that was over 5 pounds, ain't that great. And that lake was covered.
And that's kind of what I've been noticing as well. Like a lot of the events that we've been having up here, we just haven't seen those larger wave of bigger fish come in yet.
But that lake, man, it's like a switch. You can go hammer them one day, and next day you can walk away with nothing. It's something else. It is.
So I'm gonna take a pause for a moment here because everybody's kind of sitting and just listening. Take a moment, make sure, folks, if you're tuning in and listening, I didn't start off the interview part for letting everybody know we actually have items we're going to be giving away. I'll wait to the end of the interview to kind of go through that. So the way that you're going to be entered in for these free products that we have from our wonderful sponsors is you got to take and like this YouTube video as well as leave us a comment in here. That's all you got to do. Start having some interaction. We definitely, if y'all have questions that y'all want us to ask, definitely take the moment, put your questions down in here in the comment section. We'll be able to see it pop up, and we'll make sure to get your questions asked. Or if you even have some statements you even want to say, that's totally fine. So, so Sunday, you talking about feast and famine. Feast was definitely Sunday. It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Heartbreaker.
It was. We did something Sunday that we ain't done all of last year, and that was lose big fish. It was pretty depressing for both of us because both of us lost a good fish. Either fish would have done it for us. But I'd rather lose it in that one versus, going for the points.
Yeah. So tell me if I'm right. I've noticed something. You still got the same net in your boat?
Yeah, I still got the same. Well, I take that back. Another partner of mine lost my original Lucky net from last year, so I had to go out and buy another net just like it.
You still got the same length? Because that is a long net.
Yeah, I got the same one. It's only about $45 at Academy, man. You can order it. It's about 7.5, 8 foot long. You can reach out there and get something.
It hurt us. It hurt us Sunday though. We didn't have it extended Sunday, and it hurt us.
Oh,
No, we didn't have it extended. It's a little heavier of a net, but
Yeah.
man, it's so nice to have that reach. It is.
hey, I ain't gonna lie. We fished a tournament Saturday before last at Latham, and I'm telling you, my net's only like probably, if I had to guess, maybe 3-4 foot long. And I had one come off that if we had had a net size that you're talking about length, we could have easily netted that fish easily.
Well, it's funny because I fished at Jeff's boat a couple tournaments this year because this one was being worked on, and there was a few times I was trying to jump out of the boat to net the fish with his little net. It just couldn't get to the boat quick enough.
So Sunday, what do you think your best five would have went if you'd have landed all the fish? What do you think your best five would have went?
Man, there's two I didn't see. I mean, we saw a good bull on one of them that come off on me, and then there was another one that pulled real hard that made that line noise going through the water sideways, which had weight on the other end. We never saw it, and it pulled loose. But the other two we saw. And then we had one that was like 3.5 in the boat. Easy 20-25.
Wow. Man.
It would have been the best. It could have been the best bag brought out of there in a tournament yet, you know.
And I haven't really heard what has been the best bag yet. I mean, I know our state championship with Chris Gayton and Mike Strickland that had that 20-pound bag, but there's been over 20-pound bags brought in up there.
Wayne and Howard Knight brought in like 21 something and 5 Alive. I think it was that was in last year, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, our one tournament out there last year in the spring too. In April they had, was it 21 or was it 22? Yeah, I think it was a 21-pound bag.
I think there was another 20. There was a 21 that day and a 20 that day by Lee Nunley.
Yeah, a 21 and a 20.
It usually averages out around 17.5 to 18.5 is usually been the mark so far, you know.
Right.
But it's just right around the corner, man. For you to start seeing 20, 30-pound bags, it's coming. It is coming.
So tell me this, Nicolai. You've had experience, obviously, 1 year with Georgia Bass-TEC, going into it the second year. Does it still kind of give you butterflies going into it, on edge, nervous a little bit?
I think that was my problem last year, and I was trying to go off of something, you know, when the lake opened, and I choked in that tournament big time. This time,
you and I both did.
You turned out better than I did, so. But I just went off something stupid and didn't stick to what'd been working out there, and I got a lot more arsenal this year, and a lot more spots, and a lot more baits.
So you're saying you got Jeff, right, the champion?
That's Big Fish Jeff.
Got the net man, right?
He is the net man, and he is Big Fish Jeff.
So Jeff, what's your predictions going into 2020 Georgia Bass-TEC? What do you think the weights are going to take?
I'm saying over 20-pound bag. They're out there. So I say 20-pound bag and big fish probably over 8 pounds on big fish.
So I'm gonna be straight. And I'm gonna put you on the spot, both of y'all, for something. Y'all gonna catch your big fish early, or you're gonna catch it late in the day?
Late in the day.
That's easy. It's always late in the day for us. I don't know why. Usually it's the last 2 hours.
I don't know what happened, Nicolai, but your audio just went weird.
Is it working now?
No. I'm going to take you off the feed, and I'm going to bring her up back, see if it fixes it. Let's hear it a little bit.
How about now? Can you hear me?
No, it's acting up.
Let me get in here and get stationary.
Are you hearing it too, Jeff? It's like he's...
Yeah, it's messed up.
It's tunneled. If you need to, Nicolai, if you need to just log off and then log back in, I'll bring your news feed back up when you get in. That may be what needs to happen.
All right, let me try.
It's kind of odd. So you think it's going to be late in the day, Jeff?
For us, all the tournaments we've had out there, I mean, we've in the last hour, we always, you know, I mean, we've caught good fish early, but it's happening in the last couple hours out there for us. We've had some good tournaments where, you know, we've had 12, 13 pounds, and then in the last hour we caught a 6 and a 5. I mean, so for us, it's in the last hour.
Nicolai, let's hear your audio.
Well, is that any better?
Way better.
Yeah.
So Aaron Bland's got a question. And this is a good question to ask. What size line do y'all use at Hard Labor Creek Reservoir?
We know that's for sure.
We know what?
We're going to change the line. That's for sure. We're going up.
Man, I use cheap stuff. I use Berkeley Big Game, 15-pound test. It's been good to me on that lake, but Sunday I think it cost me. I'm gonna move up to 20 just because I know we're fishing in that hard cover, man. So I'm gonna bump up a little bit.
Man, you're making me pins and needles. I got 15-pound test over here that I'm fixing to string up for Saturday. And I see Jeff up there shaking his head. No.
There we go, 20, 25.
Oh, I got braid for special circumstances.
Braid would work.
Yep. It's a good question there, Aaron. Do y'all have a preference, Jeff? I know Nicolai said his brand as far as big game. What about your preference for type of line?
I like high seas line.
High seas.
The memory is low. That's the key for me. I don't like the line twist and that. So memory's good on high seas, and it's pretty cheap line, but it's good line.
So I know you hadn't had involvement with it. Well, you probably got, if you was out with a film cruise, would both of y'all receive the line Taming Serum products or anything from last year? I know Nicolai did, obviously.
I didn't get none. I didn't take any.
That's right. I think we had just a few extra things that we gave some of the film crews. What do you think of the line Taming Serum, Nicolai? Straight up, be straight, honest.
I don't think I got the line Taming Serum. I got the Rejuvenate, and I used it this past year during the summer, and I thought it did real good.
Man, I can't believe you didn't. Everybody had a bottle for the line Taming Serum.
Yeah, I didn't get that bottle.
Get with me at if you're going to be out there Saturday fishing. I'm assuming y'all are going to probably be at Hard Labor.
I'm thinking about doing the benefit with my son. He's anxious to get in the boat, so
get with me. I've got I'll hook you up. Don't ever forget that. I'll hook you up because you should have got with me on that for sure, because we definitely had it for all the anglers on it. I don't know why that happened.
Yeah.
So y'all, obviously we've had conversations, and I'll put y'all kind of on a spot. You can tell from the background that I've got here. Both of y'all sight fishermen, non-sight fishermen?
Yeah, it's never really been my thing. Plus being short don't help.
I don't do a lot of sight.
Yeah. But you can always stand up on that trolling motor. Shoot, that's what I wind up. Almost all the guys in our club knows. I mean, I'm 5'11", and it's so crazy that if I just stand up, I mean, brackets on trolling motors ain't but like where the mount is, ain't but probably a foot height, if that. And if you just stand up that much higher, it's like tremendously different, just a little bit.
You might see a 5-foot step ladder on that big deck I have in the back.
Set it up like a flats boat.
I got the room. I may just bring one.
So I know you and I talked. I mean, you ain't watched MLF today. What about you, Jeff?
I watched the last part of it. I watched someone catch who was it that caught the 9.8?
I didn't catch on to that. Who caught the 9.8?
I caught one late though. It was like 9.8. So,
man.
Big fish.
So Bird Hunter, I don't know if y'all know who Bird Hunter is. It says Nicolai and Jeff, great partners. And I would say y'all are going to be a force to be reckoned with coming into this state championship.
I hope that's the case, don't you, Jeff?
I hope so.
I mean, we had just as good a chance as anybody, man. I mean, a lot of you guys that ain't real familiar with the lake last year, y'all came in and did a number on the locals.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to y'all, which I think that's advantage, y'all not knowing a whole lot versus everybody knows the lake. I mean, that sometimes hurts you, because you're relying on memory or past. So hats off to y'all from last year. I don't think it's going to happen again this year.
And that was all Mike and Chris, man. They were the ones that was able to turn it on. And I mean, for that fact also, I mean, Electric Bass Opens as a club as a whole. I know we were all kind of right there kind of tight together, but they were the best club throughout the state as well. So great representation, and see if everybody can hold back to defend their titles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a competitor. I'm so competitive, I always think, we got some of the better clubs right here that we fish in. I know everybody else thinks the same about their own clubs. I think we're all great clubs, and I love competing with everybody.
Yes.
So TEC, I think it's an awesome thing. We get to meet everybody, make new friends, maybe even fish with some of them or share a little information, when we come to their home turf, whatever it may be.
Yes.
So I think it's just a great thing all around for everybody. Love it. Thank you, Mary.
No, thank all the club presidents, because I mean all the work that everybody does for planning it. It's all of us working together. But just with that, talking about that, in the hope of everything that's going on now in our nation and throughout the world with the illnesses that's going around, and good Lord only knows, what we may be faced with in the days ahead. I mean, them talking all the way out to July and August. We're still going to continue on as planned, just as long as nothing sets back, any changes or anything like that. We'll discuss with the group as well for club presidents. I know they talk about, having a limit to only a certain amount of people within functions. If we have to work around that as far as, limit our space between everybody, and we'll all club presidents discuss that going into here in the next couple months. So I'll take a moment, just kind of pause. Folks, again, just make sure, leave us some questions, comments. So far, it looks like we've only got just a handful of people that's going to be wound up entered in for the drawing. So make sure, get your comments in here, even if it's just a, hey, how you doing? Just make sure to get in there and do it. So I want to take a moment, man, if you don't mind. I'll take a breather for a moment and go through our sponsors and how thankful we are of them. G2 Gemini jerseys. They have sponsored our Hooked Up Lives by providing their angler jerseys discount. All you have to do is, once you get on their website, enter in the promotion code G2 Georgia spelled out 20. So that's G2 Georgia spelled out 20. We'd like to thank G2 Gemini jerseys for their great commitment for Georgia Bass-TEC Hooked Up Live. Our next sponsor, what kind of looks bad with all of our background, can't hardly make it out. Line Taming Serum. They make great additives that helps out for line conditioning. I try to make sure to put it that way because I tend to forget this a lot of times. They also have other great products as well. Different scents and oils that can be added into your bait packages. So we like to thank Line Taming Serum for their sponsorship. We'll be giving away a free sample bottle of Line Taming Serum. We appreciate their sponsorship. Our next sponsor is Rejuvenade. We'll be giving away one of these free bottles, Live Well Treatment Formula, that helps out during those time conditions that fish get stressed the most. Sorry, Nicolai, I've put you right behind the bottle, hadn't I? So those hot summer months, those fish getting stressed, and even during the time whenever their spawn's going on, Rejuvenade is a great product to take and put in there, additive to it with the addition during warmer water, putting in some ice mixture to it. We'll be giving away one of these free bottles of Rejuvenade. We'd like to thank our sponsor for this Hooked Up Live. Our next sponsor is Dugout Bait and Tackle. As you can see, the hat that I'm wearing is the exact same hat that we're going to be giving away free. All you have to do is leave us a comment, and the Dugout Bait and Tackle has provided a hat that's going to be given away in this package as well. If you haven't been down there, check them out. They have your bait selections, your tackle selections, and they've got kayaks as well. And I'm telling you, from all the social media that I'm seeing with the kayaking industry through with Dugout Bait and Tackle, that place is moving some kayaks. Like every time I turn around, I'm seeing this person's bought another one, this person's bought one, this person bought one. So we appreciate Dugout Bait and Tackle for sponsoring our Hooked Up Lives. And I haven't done it the past couple of times, but I have finally got the logo. Performance Lure products that Castleberry Performance Lure Company has sponsored our Hooked Up Lives, and we greatly appreciate it. Get on their social media page, Facebook, check them out. I know they've got a lot of different places that they're starting to get their products out there on the shelves, so that way folks can get by and purchase their products. So greatly appreciate their commitment to our Hooked Up Lives. And I think I can breathe now. So that being said, let's go back over here. I think I got a comment coming in here. Yep. So Justin Donaldson wants to ask, what are, and this is for both of y'all, what are y'all's favorite brands of rods and reels?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I got all the Dugout rods, the Jacob Wheeler Dugout rods. I got 273 medium heavies, and then I got 4 7-foot medium heavy rods. And I put loose reels. I like loose reels on my rods.
What kind of lures? Do you know which ones?
Just the GFS, the newer ones, the $99 reels. LFS.
Awesome.
I think they're 7:3-1 gear ratio.
You got spin rods, all bait casters, or?
I got 2 spinning rods. I don't use them a lot. I don't like to drag the shaky head around. I'd rather Carolina rig or throw a worm.
And I'm sure you noticed this, Jeff. Today, I mean, this week that MLF's been out there on the water, there's a lot of folks still throwing those spin cast rods, braid backing, and I'm talking big fish being caught on them.
They're using the Cinco's wacky style, and Mark Daniels was throwing the trick worm the other day on the first day. He was throwing trick worm. So,
Nico rigs on them too, bed fishing for them. Like, is that something of your arsenal you like to throw back in with braid? And
I don't do it a lot. I don't throw during the summertime and that if I have to throw a shaky head, I'll use it. But that's basically about the only time I'll use a spinning rod.
Wow. I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I've got 3 spinning rods, I think, in my garage right now, and that's it. So
I mean, I love throwing topwater baits, crank baits, spinner baits, chatter baits. Nicolai last year showed me a lot last year, dragging a Carolina rig and dragging a worm. I mean, it catches fish,
And topwater at the end of the year too, right?
And topwater.
Yeah, Jeff gets credit for that one. He started with topwater. I just had to fall in line with him.
You had to put the nail in the coffin, huh?
Yeah.
So let's hear about yours, Nicolai. What's your rods and reels favorite brand setup?
Well, you got more spinning rods than I do. I have one, and it usually stays at the house. If I have to break it out, I probably should just stay home. But I got 3 white ice 2 duckets. I got 3 black ice duckets, which are a little pricey, but to me they're worth the money, man. They're so light. They're so nice and easy on my wrist, after you fish all day. Fishing with something nice and light, I mean, it's not as bad as something heavy all day,
Yes.
especially when we get in them summer months, man. It beats you down. But quantum reels, I got quantum reels. They're probably about 10 years old. They're built really good. Still got some of the aluminum, no plastic components on the inside, so they've lasted, and I think they throw better than some of the newer reels with the plastic components in it. I bought 3 quantum smokes, a couple 8-1 gear ratios and a 7-3, and after about a year, I've gotten to hear a little noise coming out of them versus mine. They're 10 years old with real components that don't make no noise. And I just had them going through right before this season by DB&K. Brian over that owns DB&K. He does custom lures, custom crankbaits. If there's a crankbait that you've lost and you want that you can't find nowhere, he can probably make it and give you something that you lost back in the day. But he goes through your reels. He makes rods. He sells rods. He sells lubes. And he makes a lot of swim baits and, like I said, crankbaits, and they're all handmade. And he does awesome paint jobs.
So you got a social media page?
He does. He has a Facebook page. Just look up DB&K. His name's Brian. I mean, I think it's important to get your reels going through every year as much as we use them, and I'm very pleased with what he did with that. They're smooth, and he didn't have to replace nothing. They're all in good shape.
Does he also make custom rods?
He does. If you have a rod in mind that you want, he can build it the length, heaviness, however you want it.
I think I know him. That's why I was trying to think. I think yep.
A lot of us around here, a lot of us use a lot of his baits. Yarders use him. Wayne uses him a lot, and a lot of other folks. He's well known. He takes care of all of us.
So, curiosity, both of y'all talking about y'all's rods. Not trying to take you away from that with talking about DB&K, but warranties. What about for y'all's? Obviously, your reels, them quantums being so old. What about the rods? Do they have warranties with them or anything when y'all end up buying them? And just curiosity on that.
Mine, the black ices are lifetime. The white ices are. I don't think they're lifetime, but I think they probably have like a 20-year warranty on them, which all I would probably have to pay is just the shipping. Something goes wrong. I haven't had a problem at any of them rods yet, though. I had a few problems out of the micro magics that I had. You'd have one break here, break there, an eye or two fall off. But,
what about yours, Jeff? You got the same thing as far as lifetime to them?
I don't think they're lifetime. I think on these, they're either a 2-year warranty or a 5-year warranty on them. But I still got the receipts for them, though. I was trying to take it back to the academy and get another one.
So that's what I have noticed. I went to one of the expos last year, and I noticed, a lot of these rod companies, they are coming out with the certain rods to where they're lifetime warranties to them, and that's really a strong selling point. It really is.
It is. I mean, like I said, I've spent a pretty penny on some of mine. I've waited for the sales at Tackle Warehouse, 15-20% off, so it ain't hitting me in my pocket too bad.
Yeah.
If you ever put a black ice in your hand, you will love it. I promise.
See, I am definitely a household of 4 women living in the same house, y'all. I didn't stutter when I said that. 4 women in my house, wife included, obviously. And so I buy the cheapest of cheapest. I mean, I've got the lime green rods, right? Everybody knows them, Team 13s. I don't know if y'all seen them. Tackle Direct last week had them on sale, closeout sale, discontinued rods, $39.
Wow.
$39. Have y'all ever picked up one of those Team 13s?
I don't believe I have.
For $39, they're nice.
Never picked one up.
Everybody gives us crap when we're out there on the water. Lime green rod, that's hideous. Ugly.
I mean, 12, 15 years ago when I fished big lakes, all I used was all-star rods.
Yeah.
You don't see those really too much anymore.
Yep. So Blake Yarder, there's one of them fierce competitors. Says great job, Bass-TEC. Big thanks to self as well as all the club presidents, also to all the great sponsors. That's definitely the truth. Couldn't do it without you for all that's involved. Georgia Bass-TEC. Appreciate that, Mr. Yarder. Sure do. Appreciate our fans that definitely get on here and check us out. So Bird Hunter, I don't know. He's saying the movement's delayed. I don't know if it's maybe his Wi-Fi connection, maybe, or her connection. I don't know if Bird Hunter might be a lady. Might be. You might want to check your Wi-Fi connection, possibly. So I don't really have anything else to really kind of go through. I don't know. We ain't gonna get into all the specifics of locations, or unless somebody asks about baits or anything. I'm kind of stalling for a minute just in case if I want to ask y'all your favorite baits, but we can definitely find out coming into the state championship, because I am definitely going to be there, and I am being y'all have already given the time frame for the afternoon. I am going to try to hunt y'all down. No pressure or nothing. Like if you want me to leave and you're having a bad day, you just say leave and I'll leave. Okay.
Like I said in the beginning, I can do this for hours. So
yeah. But I'm looking forward to getting down there with y'all. I hope I'm not a professional at it as far as myself. I know decked out John with Brett. Appreciate all his hard work that he does for us with Georgia Bass-TEC, helping promote it by putting us out there. So I'm looking forward to getting out there and following y'all around for a day and watching for once, like not having the pressure of I've got to fish and put those 5 key fish, like no pressure to y'all or anything. You know what I mean? Like y'all got to get those 5 fish.
That's
yeah.
The 5.
Yeah.
Because tell me if I'm right, Nicolai. You want some redemption from 2019, am I not right?
I do. It can't get no worse. So,
well, I can share the same. I wished I had the opportunity to get back into it if we'd have done good enough to made it into the 2020 Georgia Bass-TEC. But I can share that same passion that you've got for wanting to try to get back in there and do better than what happened the last event.
Yeah, it left a better taste in my mouth, and it's my fault.
Yep.
Learned a lot from it.
We all did. So, man, unless anybody else has anything to bring up, I think I've kind of stalled long enough here talking. So, folks, I appreciate each and every one that's tuned in tonight to watching the show. Appreciate Jeff, you taking time, sitting down with us. Nicolai, the same as you as well, showing us your boat set up. Looking forward to seeing y'all again face-to-face down there at Hard Labor Creek.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great year. There's more boats, more clubs. It's going to be a slugfest, I think.
Well, man, I appreciate it. And fans, we'll have our next Hooked Up Live coming up. Don't know exactly when for the date yet. I know I'm going to have to start rolling out quite a few of them here coming up to the tail end of this. So make sure, keep an eye out on our Facebook page. I will be getting it out there, being we're all pretty much quarantined to our houses. Nothing better to do, just sit around and talk fishing and listen about fishing. So appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.